YouTube thumbnail game is on, and I'm your host CGR, back with another episode. Episode number 4. Is YouTube thumbnail design an art? Short answer, no. YouTube thumbnail design is a piece of marketing. As I defined in the first episode, it's not an art. So what is an art? Art is something that you create for an artistic value. Let's open the definition of art. A-R-T, meaning. The expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically is a visual form such as painting or sculpture, producing work to be appreciated primarily for its beauty or emotional power. So its primary purpose is beauty or emotional power. It's not a marketing thing that's directed towards a customer. It's a YouTube thumbnail is for particular purpose, has a purpose. It's directed towards a particular audience with a particular purpose of converting those people into your viewers. The creative process behind YouTube thumbnail, although of course it's not an art to be precise, but it still falls under creative process. So what is my process for creating a YouTube thumbnail? The first thing is understanding. I have noticed that whenever I read the script and understand the whole situation that's going on, then I will get better ideas and my execution is often much better. So yeah, understanding the thing, just like understanding any customer in marketing, copywriting, it's same in the YouTube thumbnail. You have to understand what the video is about, what people may find interesting about it, what people is going on around that video or the context, what's the story or background around it, which you can get from ChatGPT most often, and of course reading the scripts help always. Artistic element in thumbnail design, color composition and typography, yes. Although it is not defined, although I do not call it as an art, but still it has all the elements of design, artistic elements of design, the color, the composition, the typography, the color, but it's not like graphic design and even painting, sculpture. These things do not stand on their own. It's all coming out from the source, the nature, the colors in the nature. Whatever color any graphic designer is producing, or he's the one is using and trying to make something new, everything nature has already made. You're never gonna make something new. All the colors were made in nature, and it's all present. All the combinations and compositions that you will ever think of, it's already present in the nature. So yeah, nature is the source. Composition, it's all have been composed. Everything has been done. Typography, you can take inspiration for every single thing from the nature itself, and then comes other people's work, and then after you have learned the recipe, then you create a recipe. Balancing artistic and functionality. Although it is not strictly an art, but yes, it can. You do have to have the functions or functionalities of an art, like the symmetry, the colors must look good. Also, the marketing psychology behind it, like red, yellow, the contrast, the composition must look real. Those things also matter. The personal touch, injecting individuality into designs. until and unless you are like 100% copying someone's color, someone's every single touch, and you are not adding some of your own personal touch, it generally gets added with the more experienced you are. You do add some personal touch. You just add a personal touch on your own. But if you're just until you are just 100% dedicated, just copying the person, you will add some personal touch of your own. So don't worry about it. I think storytelling through thumbnail, yes, a form of visual narrative. You have to convey a very simple story. Simple story, simple message through the thumbnail that convinces people and makes the right promise to whoever's scrolling, so that they come and watch the video and is fulfilled on that promise. Yes. Inspiration and influences in the thumbnail industry. As I said, you have to take inspiration from other people's work. Just like a cook, I define it always. Just like when you start cooking, you have to take inspiration. You have to use the recipes. You have to see what already works and then do those things. And after that, a pattern recognition is created inside your brain and you will learn things. It's just a skill and you learn that skill, and after that you can make it on your own. It just comes. It's just a skill. Every niche is another skill. Like overall, there is a skill, but whenever every niche is also another form of a skill. The critique of thumbnails as art, public and peer feedback. I think the clients, though, the people who have that channel generally want it to be a marketing piece. Sometimes the designers, when they start designing, that time they generally consider it a piece of art. But I have seen like sometimes clients also consider it's like an art. I want to see this in the thumbnail. I want to see this. Why? Like most of the time, the job of the thumbnail is to work, not to look like as if you want it to work. You want it to look. It's like, yeah, you can direct it and influence it. Of course, everyone does, but it's more about what works and make something around it. Yeah. So don't treat it like your child or your baby, like the only thing in the world. Just what works, do that. And of course, keep playing with it, and that's what I try to do. Often that's the thing here. Sometimes people that's the only YouTube channel they have, outside of their normal job. That's the only thing that person is doing. So often people create it like this is hardcore business. Until unless you are documenting or vlogging or not out here for money. If you are out here for money, treat it like a business. And if you are for the joy of it or for the adventure of it, or those kind of aspects that are totally different. So you do not get the views, but initially at least. But if you are do not get the views initially, but over a long spectrum of time, if you increase the time horizon, then yes, the person who wants that great piece of work wins. If you're just in for the money, Never look for the great work. Just do what works. In that field also, you have to do what works. Like, there is a balance. These things very, yeah. Evolution of thumbnail design. That's a good point. Thumbnail design. Like, AI has influenced it a lot. Like, initially, the thumbnail designs were very simple. I think standard of everything is rising up. Like, there's a saying that attention spans are not getting smaller, or attention spans are not getting smaller. It's the people's expectations are rising. Like, people do watch Netflix for 10 hours straight, and no one watches your content maybe. So it's not that people's attention spans are less, it's just that their expectations are higher. Or if I use a better word than expectations, it's like the standards of people are much higher. It's not like attention span is less. So yeah, the same goes for the design area. People are creating better designs, so you have to rise and create better of your own. So the game, the market, it doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care if you're a beginner. It doesn't care. It just cares about the work, the capitalist economy. Everything has to rise. Everything has to become better. Everything has to become great. Whoever is the greatest wins. Yes, the winner takes all. Also, the emotional impact of thumbnails. Yes, thumbnail, especially in many niches, it should trigger an emotion. Because even if we think of it, we human beings in general, like, if human nature is, we are emotional beings. We tend to take emotional decisions, and then, what's the saying? Like, we take emotional decisions and apply it with, and then give us the logic of what we are doing it, and we convince ourselves logically, but we do take emotional decisions most of the time. And even if you're taking a great decision, it also comes from emotion of being different, emotion of being, wanting to be someone else, not in copying someone else, but wanting to be better. It's also an emotion. Like, both are emotions. One is instant gratification emotion, one is long-term view emotion. But yes, it is emotion, kind of, yes. Art versus commercial design, where thumbnails fit in. As I said, there is a spectrum, it more on the commercial design side than an art. The process of conceptualizing and executing a design vision. You have to see a trend, what works in this niche, whenever I am creating thumbnails, I try to see a pattern, what has worked, what will work, you try. When you are in the game for a long enough period of time, you try to predict. Like, if you do it 1,000 times, you are able to predict the behavior. When you did this happened. When you did this happened. There is pattern that you over the time recognize, and that is a skill, and that's why you know what's gonna work, and you are able to conceptualize it, and then execution comes. Execution is also another skill, but the conceptualizing part is more important. Many people may have the Photoshop skill, but may lack the conceptualizing part. Yes, but Photoshop skill is also scarce, I think, really. Also, if you're willing to learn, no one can stop you. Keep learning. importance of originality and innovation in the thumbnail. Like I have till now just talked about taking inspiration from other thumbnails and other designs and other, even you can take inspiration from a thumbnail from a Instagram post or other things that are working, because the market is the same almost. Like the market rewards the best, and if something is working in another space, maybe it can be brought into this space. So yeah, importance of originality versus innovation. Initially, you have to just take inspiration from things that are already working and things that people are doing, the recipes that people are liking and the recipes that people are making. So later on, when you understand each of the element and each of the ingredient, and then the originality comes. I think this is a very common notion that you have to be original and you have to be one of your own and not copy people. But initially you do have to copy 100 designs before you can create one. Just a skill. The challenge is in maintaining artistic integrity. Like if you remain at the copying, like if you just copy the trend, that will be a problem. You have to copy and also understand where it's going. You have to take inspiration and work for yourself to see what you did that worked and what you did that didn't work. Because even if when you are copying, you do not understand it 100%. Like you may not, like we are so blind to things, we do not understand it 100% of the time. You may read a line, you may think that is the reason that is working, but until you, like if you read about an exercise, it's not gonna help you that much until and unless you do it. Then you understand the small things around it. Why does everyone who read a book doesn't get it? Why everyone who takes a seminar doesn't get it? And some people do, because when they start executing, there are millions of small skills, millions of small details that cannot be humanly conveyed to you in a course or in a book, that comes in the grind, that comes while doing the work. Even if you, in our context, when you see a thumbnail, you do not see like 100% of what that designer made. It's not like you 100% understand just by seeing 100 thumbnails. But when you do make it, and when you do put it on your video, and when you do make 100 more of those, then you get an understanding of the small things that goes inside, the small things that's happening behind the scenes. Maybe the background of the subject was, you may think that the clicks are coming because of some reason, but the clicks may be coming because of some other reason. So you learn that gradually. Yes. Influence of technology on art of thumbnail design. Influence of technology. Like, of course, there are two types of evolution. One is natural evolution and the second is cultural evolution. But I personally think that second one should be called the natural evolution and the second must be called a technological revolution, because technology influences us more than culture. cultural evolution. Like, why urban cities developed? It was because of the industrial revolution. Why feminism, etc., is going on? It's because of technological revolution. It's not because of culture. Culture is influenced by technology. Human beings are able to change so much because of technology. It's not like cultural evolution. It's not just one day I started, like today I will be creating these types of thumbnail. No, I have access to AI. That's why I'm able to conceptualize that and execute that. Technology influences everything in our lives, and of course, thumbnail designs as well. Recognizing and celebrating excellence in thumbnail design. You have to make it convincing, you have to make it real, you have to make it looking good. At the same time, the elements must be big, and it must convey the message. The promise must be right according to the video. So yeah, you do require excellence, you do require great work. The difference between a good work and a great work is humongous. So yeah, and great works get great results and good works get good results. And the difference between good and great is so big that it's like Mariana Trench and Mount Everest. Fostering a community of thumbnail artists. Like, I personally know very few thumbnail artists at the present moment, but I want to know others. And like, I do know many working with me in the agency, but other than that, I do want to know more people. I do want to connect with more people. That's why I'm starting this podcast. I will be talking here about the YouTube thumbnail game, and I will try to bring in people to discuss things on the thumbnail design. Yeah. Fostering a conclusion. Conclusion to today's episode. Conclusion to everything. Do the work. It's the skill. It will get better. I will get better. You can get better. And keep learning, recognizing the patterns. And yeah, it just takes work. The market rewards work. And you will get great at it. If you put in the work, if you do 100,000, like 10,000 hours, then you will be better. I will be better. I have to do the work. It takes work and I will do it no matter what. Competition is good. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday and not who someone is today, and keep producing great work. So I'll meet you tomorrow again. Episode number 5 tomorrow it will be. So yeah, teaching brought to you by CGR Designs.